Good evening. Thank you for joining us for our Tuesday, October 14th regular council meeting. It's 7 PM. Ms. Clerk, if you'll call the roll.
Charlie Davidson. George Glover. Linda Westhafer.
Here.
Charles Schwenke.
Here.
Terry Osborne.
Here.
Troy Hill.
Here.
Brandy Bailey. Jim Schrader. Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Marlo, if you guys will please stand for our invocation and our pledge. Marlo will lead our invocation, and our pledge will be led by Councilman Glover.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for your presence here in this meeting. We ask that you guide this governing body as they make decisions on behalf of our city. We thank you for blessing our city and continuing to cover us with your hedge of protection. May our decisions this evening glorify you. In Jesus' name I pray.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May be seated. Okay, first we have approval of the agenda. I would ask to add a 10-minute executive session as item number 7. And that will just include the governing body, a reference to non-elected personnel. That'll be the only addition. Troy?
I move to approve the agenda with the corrections, or the addition.
Thank you. Terry?
Second.
Okay. Motion by Terry motion by Troy, second by Terry. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0, and I guess I failed to say that the councilmen and women that are not here tonight notified me in advance that they had scheduling conflicts, so thank you. Awards and presentations, we have none tonight. Nobody has signed up for public forum. Staff reports, I have the finance director tonight. Good evening, Dee.
Marlo is distributing the reports. I've also included in those an article dated October 2nd on the local economy, the Wichita area. I highlighted what I thought was kind of important points. You can read it or throw it away, whichever you wish. Okay, let's start with the tax distribution sheet. It provides the current year-to-date collections as well as the annual amounts received in the prior 5 years. For each of the 4 farthest right columns, which would be the 2020 through 2023 columns, the city was maintaining the same mill levy. Those mill levies are highlighted yellow. And then in the 2024 and 2025 column, council reduced the mill levy by $0.5 mil in each of those years. Those 2 mill levies are highlighted green. That equates to $66,810 less taxes that were levied for the 2024 budget, and $145,187 less for the 2025 budget, since the 2025 column is now a full mil lower, 1/2 mil each year. The orange highlighted fields reflect the percentage increase over the prior year's collections. The 4.9% increase in 2025 will likely be quite a bit higher once we receive the last 2 tax distributions. The total collections, which are highlighted blue, have increased every year, even with those 2 1/2 mil reductions, and even though we haven't yet received the last two distributions for 2025. That's a result of our increases in assessed valuation every year. Please remember, the increase in revenue comes with increases in our costs as well. Street work, sidewalks, vehicles, equipment, labor, everything is getting more and more expensive. We annually receive 6 property tax distributions from the county. The January distribution is the largest, and June is the second largest. due to the first and second half of property taxes being due to the county on December 20th and May 10th respectively. The October and December distributions are the smallest, with December mostly being a cleanup distribution for motor vehicle taxes. The slight fluctuation in the mill levies from year to year and the years that we have not intentionally reduced the mill levy, which are the yellow highlighted cells, are due to cities basing their budgets on the estimated assessed valuation to determine the dollars to budget. And then once the county knows the final assessed valuation, they adjust the mill levy slightly to provide the dollars the cities have budgeted. If the final assessed value is higher than the estimate they provided us, then the mill levy is adjusted down and vice versa. So even though we're attempting to levy the exact same mills as the previous year, we have no control over the final mill levy. If you would please go to the second report I provided. It's got sales tax, franchise taxes, and so forth on it. I need a desk up here. Okay, there are no October entries on this report, as there typically are, because they're generally received later in the month. I'm doing this the first council meeting of the month instead of the second, because I will be gone for the second, so. Please notice that each section of the report has a full year collection column. So every amount under that heading represents collections for the full year that's listed to the left of each of the amounts. Since 2025 isn't finished and would therefore not be comparable to all the other full years in that column, that field is shaded gray. Each section of the report also has a year-to-date January to September heading, so all amounts that are listed under that heading are for the months January through September, so you can see how we're going this year as compared to the same time period in each of the prior years, apples to apples. Okay, on sales tax for the county, the county sales tax collections are in the upper left corner of the report. Our 2025 year-to-date county sales tax collections through September, which is highlighted green, are higher than the same time period for all the prior years on the report. This report does show you the detail for each does not show you the detail for each individual month, but each of the January, February, May, June, and July 2025 receipts are a record high compared to the same month in all the prior years. That's not surprising, though, when you consider the fact that the price of items is also increasing, so the sales tax on each item purchased is higher. The city sales tax collections, which is in the middle, there's a 2-month lag from the time most businesses collect sales tax until we receive it from the state. Since our local 1% sales tax went into effect on January 1st last year, the majority of businesses remitted their January sales tax collections to the state by February 25th, and then we received it from the state near the end of March. We therefore didn't receive anything in January until a tiny amount in February, only a tiny amount in February, and then only approximately $163,000 in March, which is still low. So the yellow highlighted amounts in the January through September column are not really comparable because 2024 had a slow start. Even though it's full year, those first 3 months were, I'm kind of pitching them out. Because of that, you might just ignore the report shows for the city sales tax, and I'll try to verbally provide you with a better comparison. Again, this report doesn't show you the detail by each individual month, but when I ignore the months of January through March and instead compared each of the individual months of April through September in 2024 to each of the corresponding months in 2025, every month was considerably higher in 2025. The lowest increase during those 6 months was August this year at approximately $18,000. The highest increase was May at nearly $63,000, and the average of all the increases during the 6-month April to September time period is $47,214 per month. Franchise fees. We receive franchise tax payments from Evergy, Kansas One Gas, Cox, Southwestern Bell AT&T. In most cases, but not all, the revenue received by the city is for the utility company's prior month sales. If you look at the orange highlighted cells, you'll see that collections through the end of September this year are $761,057. as compared to $785,357 for the same time period last year, which is a decrease of a little over $24,000. However, the companies aren't all consistent regarding when and how often they remit the fees to us, and additionally, the weather will impact the amounts we receive from Evergy and One Gas each year. Local revenue sharing. This is the casino revenue. Under the MOU between the City of Park City and the Wyandotte Nation, the city receives quarterly payments of $187,500, which is $750,000 a year. As of the end of September, we had received 3 of the quarterly payments, totaling $562,500 as highlighted blue. Gas tax. We receive these payments quarterly from the state and county, but the time period of the states and counties' quarters are different. We typically receive the state payments in January, April, July, and October, and the county payments in March, June, September, and October. To date, we've received 3/4 of the state's payments and also 3/4 of the county payments, totaling $256,030, highlighted in orange, $256,035, which is higher than the first 3 quarters in any prior year in the history of Encode, which Encode goes back to 2011. The state and county gas tax payments are intermingled in the amounts shown on this report. So when I speak about only the state amounts or only the county amounts, you will not see those amounts on this report. The total of the state's 3/4 is higher than the same 3/4 in all the prior years, but only $1,025 higher than last year's. Similarly, the total of the county's 3/4 are also higher than the same 3/4 in all the prior years, but only $996 more than last year's. The gas tax was implemented to pay for maintaining roads, but the payments nowhere near cover the costs of our street work. In 2024, we budgeted $1,250,000 for street improvements, not including all the other street-related costs, and we received only $341,374 in gas tax collections. Our 2024 transfer to the Special Streets and Highway Fund from the general fund was $2,395,000, the equivalent of almost 18 mills at $133,617 per mill. Because we must also cover those other street-related costs that include such things as staff salaries and benefits, equipment, fuel, sidewalks, improvements, etc. So the general fund subsidized the Special Streets and Highway Fund by 7 times the amount of the gas tax received last year. If you recall, the gas tax is based on gallons, not dollars, purchased at the pump. The amount of gas tax being charged on each gallon purchase has been unchanged since 2003. That's 22 years ago. The more electric vehicles that are in use result in less gas being sold, which means we are collecting less gas tax than we would otherwise be collecting. Unfortunately, electric vehicles do cause wear and tear on our roads. Unless the method of calculating the gas tax changes, we will most likely be seeing decreases in collections each year rather than increases. Okay, transient guest tax. The total of the January through September 2025 collections, which is highlighted green, is the highest of any prior years in our Encode software. Even if I deduct the $28,000 that I'll explain in just a minute, there is only 1 year, 2015, that was higher, and that would have been when the Best Western was still here. The transient guest tax is deposited to the Convention and Tourism Fund. I just can't speak tonight. Convention and Tourism Fund. So it's good to see our collections as high. None of the rest of the transient guest tax amounts I'm about to discuss are shown in this report because I'm going to get down into the weeds. So please don't stress over trying to find them. They aren't there. In my last report, I informed council that the first quarterly payment in 2025 was $68,318, which was the highest first quarter payment we've received since 2020. Strangely, the second quarterly payment this year was $41,508, which was the lowest second quarter payment we received since 2012. Even stranger yet is that the third quarterly payment is $116,605, and by far the highest we've ever received in any quarter in the history of Encode. I thought there must be an error. Marlo has the ability to access the detail of the state payments, so I asked her to look into this huge third quarter payment, which would typically, although not always, include the collections for the month of April, May, and June of 2025. There were apparently some 2024 collections totaling nearly $28,000, that's the number I mentioned earlier, that were not remitted to the state until 2025. I suspect those businesses were either audited by the state or sent a letter telling them that they needed to remit the 2024 amounts. Interestingly, though, is that when I deduct the $28,000 from the third quarter payment received, it's still the third highest of any quarter in our Encode software. With the considerable amount of activity in Park City, more hotels are planned for the future, which will also increase our transient guest tax collections once they open and begin remitting the tax to the state. Liquor tax. Liquor tax is distributed quarterly. For the full year of 2024, we collected $192,426, which is highlighted red. It's the highest year we've ever had. Just a reminder of the reason for the huge increase from 2021 to 2022, which are highlighted green. The total collected in 2022 was 125% more than 2021's collections due to liquor being sold at the casino. That's when it had opened and started selling. In the orange shaded cell is the total of the first three quarter distributions we received this year, $137,728, and it's the third highest that we received for the first three quarters of all previous years. Interest income. For the full year of 2024, the city received interest income totaling $1,260,608 as compared to just under $730,000 in 2023. Those amounts are highlighted yellow. The large increase in 2024 was due to the city issuing a $26.9 million temporary note to avoid our overall unencumbered cash going into the hole due to some very large contracts that were going to be approved. That would have been a cash basis violation because we cannot legally have negative unencumbered cash. Unencumbered cash is the amount of cash the city has less accounts payable and purchase orders, regardless of whether anything has actually been paid yet. You have to have the ability to pay whatever you've committed to. Cities are required to have enough cash to cover everything they committed to, even if they haven't actually spent it yet. The proceeds from that large temp note were not actually spent for a while, so the higher cash balance in our bank account earned us a higher amount of interest income than we would have otherwise earned. For the first 9 months of this year, we've earned $883,985 in interest. At the end of August this year, we issued another temp note in the amount of $7,695,000. Our actual cash balance in our bank account as of today is $40.7 million, so it's likely we'll finish this year with interest income over $1 million, but probably less than the $1.26 million we earned in 2024. Please remember that's actual cash in the bank account that's earning interest with no regard for checks the city has written that have not yet cleared the bank, invoices entered in the financial system, but a check has not been issued. In other words, amounts that are in the accounts payable accounts, unpaid purchase order balances, or how much of the balance is in funds other than general and MTB that are therefore legally restricted to other purposes. Even the general fund has a balance requirement under the city's fund balance policy. So it sounds like a big number, but there's a lot of limitations to it. That's the extent of my report. I'd be glad to try to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank you.
Okay, next, Madison. Hello.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Just giving a brief report on the senior center. So since the beginning of the year, we have recorded 426 active members. So that's how many people have visited the senior center at least once throughout the year. Our average daily attendance is 43 duplicated and 32 unduplicated visits per day. So we are on track to meet all of Sedgwick County Department on Aging's programming and attendance requirements for the year. Although we applied for additional funding from Sedgwick County, we are again being awarded $35,000, as we have in many previous years, from Sedgwick County Aging Mill Levy funds. No change in senior center funding has been approved for 2026 because a new funding formula is actually said to be in the works from the county commission. So kind of look forward to that in the future. We have had several outings recently. We had a nice soggy day at the Kansas State Fair. We went to the Van Gogh Immersive Experience, B29 Dock Hangar Tour, just to name a few. I like to do at least 2 or 3 outings a month with our senior center van. September was also National Senior Center Month, and we celebrated by hosting a multi-senior center puzzle tournament at our center. So there were 7 senior centers represented that day, and it was just a fun time for several senior centers and their members to get together and enjoy each other's company and a little fun competition. Our team from Park City got 3rd place, which is pretty good. I think the winning team was at least 45 minutes ahead of everybody, so kind of blew everybody out of the water. Just a reminder, Medicare open enrollment begins tomorrow, actually. It's October 15th through December 7th every year. I am a certified SHIC counselor, and I take appointments every year to discuss primarily Part D or prescription drug plan options for the coming year, but I also counsel on other Medicare topics as well. And last but not least, of course, we're getting more and more excited for our new building, hopefully moving in early next year. And just an update, hopefully you heard, we had scheduled a tour of the site for our seniors for November 5th. And we had almost 100 people sign up. We have almost 100 people signed up to tour. So I think we're trying to work out the details on how to get everybody in there to see the building. So that just shows you how excited everybody in the community is for this new building and what it can do for our seniors. So that is all I have. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Council? George?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited what's coming down the pipe. Just out of curiosity, how many pool tables are going in there?
In the new building, there will be 3.
Okay. I thought somehow I was said 13. I said, that can't be right.
Oh, no. That's what they wanted, probably,
okay.
but we currently have 2, so 3 is an upgrade, for sure.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. I thought I got that wrong.
Linda?
Just so I'm clear, you said you're authorized to be like a Medicare representative, so you can talk to citizens about their coverage that they have now and that they could have when open enrollment runs around.
Correct. So during open enrollment, they can change Part D plans, they can change from original Medicare to Advantage plans and vice versa, all that good stuff. I also counsel people who are getting ready to turn 65 and what their options are.
And it's a free service to
It
them.
is a free service, yes.
How would they get hold of you?
They can call me at 316-744-1199 or email me at mschreiner@parkcityks.gov.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Madison.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And Dana? So it's all been good news so far.
Hey, we're just going to keep rolling with the good news, okay? So thank you, Mayor and Council. I am pleased to share that Park City has been selected as one of 47 Kansas host sites for Declaration 1776, the Big Bang of Modern Democracy. This is a traveling exhibition. It's from the Gilder Lehrman Institute of American History, and it's presented in Kansas by Humanities Kansas. So we applied to be one of the host sites, and we were recently selected for that. Park City will host the exhibition from September 5th through October 4th, 2026, at our new senior center. So really excited about that. because this is one of the first major public programs that will be held in our new facility. So it's going to be an opportunity to show off our new facility to a lot of people in the community. And we'll have people that are to be traveling in to see it as well. And it also is an opportunity for us to take part of the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, which of course this is a milestone celebration in America's history. This national exhibition explores the lasting impact of the Declaration of Independence, its revolutionary ideas, and it brings things together and talks about how it has been throughout history, and it highlights how the ideals of 1776 have shaped history, inspired independence, and movements of human rights efforts around the world. There's a special section of this exhibition. It's Kansas 1776. It connects the story to our own region, exploring what was happening 250 years ago in Kansas, in our region and area. This exhibition is a meaningful way for us to be part of the national conversation about democracy, equality, continuing relevance of the Declaration of Independence. And Kansas Humanities did announce this through a press release of all of the 47 sites, which includes Park City, and we're on their website, and we're excited about next year. And I would answer any questions if you have them.
Say there's 47 sites.
47
and
sites
We're one of 47 sites.
across the state of Kansas, that is correct.
Good.
So when appropriate, we'll do social media and probably a rep video? All right.
Yes, we will.
Awesome. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
All right, next is the consent agenda. Linda? Maybe that was an old buzz.
I think it was. I was like, okay.
George?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda presented.
Terry?
Second.
Okay, motion by George, seconded by Terry to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, we're on to new business. Discuss and consider appointment to the Park City Library Board. I believe you guys received the application in your correspondence to appoint Mercedes Lubers to the Library Board. Troy?
I move to approve the appointment of Mercedes Lubers as a member of the Park City Library Board with a term expiring in 2028.
George Glover?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Motion by Troy, seconded by George. All in favor?
Aye.
And all opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next is conduct a public hearing to determine whether the structure at 5755 North Broadway is dangerous and unsafe. Doug?
Mayor and council, in August, the council adopted a resolution that established this date for a public hearing to consider whether a structure at 5755 North Broadway was dangerous and unsafe, and if so, to direct the owner to either repair it or demolish it, and in the absence of that, notice to the owner that if that wasn't done, the city would do that and could then impose a lien on the property. If you could open the public hearing, one of our building officials, Gabe Ponce, will present some pictures and information, and then when you've heard from anybody else interested in closed, I'll have a few comments for you.
Thank you so much. I will open the public hearing at 7:28 p.m. And Gabe, if you'll come forward, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Do you guys have the pictures up there, or
We do not.
I can have some here if you guys need them?
I hate trying to get those apart.
As you guys can see by the pictures there, it's in pretty rough shape, from those pictures there, and, shoot. And I guess if you guys have any questions or anything like that, I can answer any questions you guys have on it, or.
Has there been any correspondence with the owner of the property?
Yes, there has been some back and forth conversations with the owner. They are leaning towards they're gonna demolish the building themselves. They did pull a permit application to do that back on September 25th. And I talked to her 2 days ago, and she says that she's just waiting on Kansas Gas to disconnect the feed line to the building, and they were gonna proceed with demolition of the building. So that's just kind of where we are on it right now, and I was last talking to the homeowner of that property.
Okay, and can you just, I guess, give us some, I'll say testimony on the reasons we want to demolish it? I mean, as far as the,
Alrighty, and I'm going off of what we have for our municipal code. It's out of chapter 4, article 3, for code structure. All roofs shall have, E states that all roofs shall have a covering free of holes, cracks, excessive worn surfaces on the roof, things like that. As you can see from the pictures, there's quite a bit of holes in the roof. It's leaning on the west side of the structure. It's already leaning over to one side. The other part of that article, D, states that all exterior walls and coverage shall be maintained in sound and good condition and good repair, free of deterioration, rot, substantial weather, tighten, rodent proof. As you can see from the pictures, none of that's up to the municipal code that we have adopted for Park City. Also, I, every window, exterior door, basement hatchway shall be reasonably weather tight, watertight, rodent and insect proof. And again, that's from the pictures. None of those are up to the municipal code standard that we have for Park City.
so it's uninhabitable? I mean, the structure's unsafe for someone to go inside of it?
Yeah, no, probably not. I would not go inside of that building.
Okay.
And like I said, on the west side of the structure, it's already leaning over. So it's structurally sound, it's not there. And obviously, over time, it's just gonna keep deteriorating and eventually probably collapse on its own on that side of the building.
Charles?
Does the owner have a construction or a destruction company, I guess you would say, lined up to do the work?
Yes, the permit pulled, they are using Supreme Construction LLC as their contractor for demolition.
Okay, and how long ago did they contract the gas company to unhook the gas?
That she did not give me any details on. That's just what she stated to me over, and it was all verbal, so.
It should almost be an overnight or next day thing, is what I was thinking, yeah.
Just depending on how fast the gas company works. Sometimes they can work pretty fast. Sometimes we're kind of at the mercy of whatever Kansas One Gas is going to do with that. On previous structures we've done, sometimes we disconnected the gas on one, and it took about 3 or 4 months. So
Really?
How long have they contacted them? Like I said, I'm not sure on that, but sometimes they can slow it down a little bit for us. But they are trending in the right direction to get this done.
Thank you. George?
Yeah, was this a residential or a commercial building?
It appears to be like a commercial building of some
Okay.
sort. It was at one point, yes.
So we're talking 20 years ago, 30 years? It's obvious nobody's been in the building for some time, is that correct?
Yes, it's probably, I'd say probably over 15 years, 20 years that anyone's been in there.
Yeah, I would guess it probably need to be down a lot sooner than this, just from looking at it. So, well, how long has it been since somebody occupied that space?
I'm not 100% sure on that answer. It's definitely been quite some time before.
Some time.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I believe the owner was in August, correct? And I think there was some conversation.
Yes.
I believe I even asked him if their plan was to tear it down he asked us to move it as far as we could, and he thought he would have it down by now. I'm just wondering, Doug, and maybe either or both of you could share an answer on this. Our goal is we declare it as unsafe and dangerous as a nuisance, and then we wait to see if they tear it down within a certain time. If they don't, we do? Is that what we're doing?
Yes, my recommendation, I don't think the owner actually told Gabe that she was not going to appear tonight. I don't think she's here. So when you close the hearing, it would be my recommendation that you make a finding that this building is in a dangerous and unsafe condition and adopt the resolution. If we don't do that, I'm trusting that they're going to tear this down and they don't, then we have to start all over again. And so you have also, if they come in after 75 days for some reason and say we need another 30 days, you're totally able to give them that sort of grace. But I think it's important that you follow through and adopt the resolution tonight. And then they've been given 90 days. Normally we give 30. In this case, we've given 90, and it sounds from Gabe's information that they are serious about going forward, but we never know. So that's why we should adopt the resolution tonight.
Yes, thank you, Doug. And that would be my preference. I would prefer they tear it down instead of us tear it down, and that sounds like that's the direction we're going. So it looks like a tree has been definitely removed from it on the front side, but thank you. Okay, is there anybody else present that would like to come speak on this matter? Okay, seeing nobody, I will close the hearing at 7:36.
Actually, Mayor, there's no need to make a separate finding. You could adopt the resolution. The finding is contained in the resolution that this structure is dangerous and unsafe.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, council, I'll ask for a motion. Harry.
I move to approve Resolution 1267, 2025, a resolution finding the structure at 5755 North Broadway to be dangerous and unsafe and pursuant to KSA 12-1753, directing the owner and any other persons having an interest in said structure to either repair or remove the structure, which with such work to commence no later than 90 days from the date of this resolution.
Roy.
I second.
Okay, motion by Terry, seconded by Troy, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. I'm sorry, Doug, do I vote on this?
No.
Okay. Okay, item 3, discuss and consider approval of a proposal for 2025 through 2029 audit services.
A request for proposal for auditing services was distributed to 17 certified public accounting firms for the 5-year period commencing with the audit of the year ending December 31st, 2025, and continuing through the year ending December 31st, 2029. The request for proposal indicated that although price for services would be an important factor, a number of other factors would also be received. For example, staff qualifications, prior audit experience, quality control, etc. Proposals were received from 7 accounting firms. It takes a long time to go through 7 proposals. A committee consisting of Assistant City Administrator, HR Manager Dana Walden, Senior Accountant Donna Crombie, and myself reviewed the proposals and narrowed them down to the 2 firms that most closely fit the factors that were outlined in the request for proposal. We unanimously agreed on which of those 2 firms was the best fit for the City of Park City, which was Gordon CPA LLC, and if their references were good, there was no reason to pursue checking references on the second choice. Each of their 3 references did provide very good reviews, and the committee is therefore recommending selection of Gordon CPA LLC for the 2025 through 2029 City of Park City audits. Over the 5-year period, the impact will be $102,925 for the regular audit and $21,250 for the single audit per major program if applicable. A single audit is the audit of financial funds entities receive that total at least $1 million. The city rarely receives federal funds that exceed that amount. In the 7 years I've been here, the only single audit we've had was when we received the ARPA funds, which were given to all cities except a handful that didn't want them. Staff recommends approval of the proposal of Gordon CPA LLC for audit services for the 5-year period of 2025 through 2029.
Thank you. Troy?
If nobody has any questions, I'll move to approve the proposal for Gordon CPA LLC for audit services for the 5-year period commencing with the audit of the year ending in December 31st, 2025, and continuing through the year ending December 31st, 2029.
Thank you, Troy. Terry?
Second.
Any further discussion on this item or questions for D? Okay, motion by Troy, seconded by Terry. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion.
Thank you.
It hears everything you say, doesn't it?
Different kind of motion. Item 4, discuss and consider approval of a contract with McPherson Backhoe for the removal of the water tower.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The Coliseum Water Tower is currently included in Park City's water distribution system. However, staff wishes to remove the tower from the water system in order to improve the filling capability of the 85th Street Water Tower. Additionally, the removal of the tower is important for future improvements to the 85th Street Tower when taken offline for repairs and repainting. Removal of the Coliseum Tower is anticipated to improve the overall system and should not cause pressure issues or other distribution system issues. There were 2 bids received, and both bids included 2 options for how the repairs would be completed. The first option provided was an estimate that utilized an approach that would leave water on for users, and the second option shut the water down for no less than 8 hours. No more than 8 hours during construction. Staff is recommending the second option for a total not to exceed $17,700 from McPherson Backhoe, Inc. This is an unbudgeted item to be paid from the utility fund, and I apologize, I had intended to include the other bid. The other bids, option 1 was $50,000, their option 2 was $36,500. So this was significantly lower than the other bid we had received. We did send this out to multiple companies that specialize in this work, and many of them responded back that their workload was too heavy at this time to take on an additional project. I do stand for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Gina. Troy?
You had mentioned that this is, this kind of has to be done. This isn't something we can wait on. It's something we need to do to correct the system. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's instrumental in doing the 85th Street Tower repairs and repainting.
Okay.
So with the height of the Coliseum Tower being lower than the 85th Street Tower, what happens is the Coliseum Tower fills up and overflows before we can fill the 85th Street Tower. Since we have the window water tower, we have multiple ways to get water and good pressure throughout the city. Now, when we do take 85th Street down, it will be even more crucial that we get this Coliseum Tower out. Otherwise, window may not be able to provide good pressure up to those areas, 85th Street and further north.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Need a motion? Terry?
I don't have any other questions, so I will move to approve and authorize the mayor to execute a contract with McPherson Backhoe, Inc. for the Coliseum Water Tower abandonment in the amount not to exceed $17,700 to be paid out of the utility fund.
Thank you. George Glover?
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion or questions of Gina? Okay, motion by Terry, seconded by George Glover. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item 5, discuss and consider approval of a contract with Professional Engineering Consultants, PEC, for paving assessment.
Council previously approved an innovative technology grant with the Kansas Department of Transportation for a transportation network evaluation using artificial intelligence. This contract with Professional Engineering Consultants is for work associated with the project, and costs were included in the total overall grant. The proposed contract is for $60,900, of which 75% will be reimbursed to the city by KDOT as a part of the terms of the grant. This is an unbudgeted item to be paid from the Special Streets and Highway Fund, and staff is recommending approval. I stand for any questions you may have.
Thank you. Charles?
How did they use the AI in developing this consultation?
They drive it, so they'll have a camera on a vehicle, kind of similar to how Google Street View works. They'll drive it, they'll put it into the software, which will use the same rating system that we've previously used on the streets to come up with a 1 to 10 rating. The other thing I don't know if we've discussed previously is it will also inventory our signs for us, any of our street signs and our sidewalks.
That's all involved in the 60,000.
That's correct. The 60,000 includes everything to acquire and input the data to give us a finished product. If you remember, the full grant was for about 65,000. That additional 5,000 is to get us a GPS station so that in the future, moving forward, we can collect the data for those locations and incorporate it into our GIS system.
Interesting. Thank you.
Is this used for our assessment for next year's street repaving projects, or is it something?
So we've had conversations with PEC. It's not likely that it will be done in time for us on the 2026 prioritization list. It'll be cutting it close, kind of that March, April timeframe, so a little later than I'd prefer to have engineering working on those 2026 projects. It'll definitely be in place to assist us with the 2027 prioritization.
Speaking of, our projects are underway right now, several of them around. At our next council meeting, are they expected to be done by then? 2 weeks?
All of the street rehab projects.
Yes.
So Hatton Drive is going to be opening up on Friday. The Wyndham entrance is currently underway, so that's going to take probably 2 to 3 weeks to complete by the time they have cure and reopen that. The mill and overlays are still anticipated to occur within this calendar year. The FDR, those full depth reclamations, we hit a little bit of a snag with those projects, and we're actually waiting on Kansas Gas to relocate and lower their gas lines. So it's always a risk when we go into those older subdivisions. Their lines aren't quite deep enough for us to go that 10-inch stabilization, and so they have requested to give them time to install new lines, which I think will be best for our citizens in the long run. That's probably going to push us into the spring, just with the colder temperatures.
Are we doing the projects, there's one, I noticed by the railroad tracks at 53rd Street to the west city limits, is that ours?
That is not us, that is the railroad. I was confused too, I thought maybe we were gearing up on the mill and overlay and reached out, and they're working on all of the crossings. I think they were working on 53rd Street first, and then they're gonna move on to 61st and.
53rd, 61st, 69th are all torn out.
Mm-hmm.
Making a lot of people mad.
Yeah, yeah, I found that out the hard way today.
I thought we were on our way.
Sorry, I got sidetracked there. I just,
That's
as we're
okay.
talking about roads.
Yeah.
Okay, so any other questions or comments about that? Boy.
I'll move to approve and authorize the mayor to execute a contract with Professional Engineering Consultants for work associated with the Innovative Technology Grant in the amount not to exceed $60,900 to be paid out of the Special Streets and Highway Funds.
Thank you. Terry?
Second.
Great. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion passes 5-0. Item 6, discuss and consider approving a change order for the aquatics facility. Change order number 1.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. During the design phase, and at the time the construction contract was approved, it was uncertain whether the existing soil conditions would be suitable for support the new aquatics facility. To account for this unknown, the contract included a fixed unit price per cubic yard of material, only to be used if unsuitable soils were encountered. Following site evaluation, it was determined that approximately 18 inches of the existing clay soils needed to be removed to a distance of 2 feet beyond the building footings, approximately 525 cubic yards. Change order number 1 authorizes the work including the removal of the unsuitable material and import placement and compaction of 18 inches of suitable construction fill. The total cost of the change order is $49,875. It is to be paid out of the Capital Projects Fund, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion on that? Okay. Troy, I mean.
I noticed it says change order number 1. I'm assuming we're expecting more down the road.
No, sir, I'm not, quite honestly. It's just the way they start them off and saying, just to keep track of them.
Okay, perfect.
One of one.
One of one for now.
All right.
Okay. Terry.
If there are no other questions, I move to approve change order 1 for Donlinger and Sons Construction in the amount of $49,875 for the aquatics facility to be paid out of the Capital Projects Fund.
Thank you, Terry. Troy.
Second.
Any further discussion or questions on this item? Seeing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, next, item 7 is governing body executive session, including elected personnel, to discuss non-elected personnel for 10 minutes. I would entertain that motion from somebody. Terry.
I move we enter executive session.
Troy.
Second.
Okay, it's 7:52. Okay, we're back at 8:03. No binding action was taken in the executive session. We are back to our very final thing, governing body reports. And George Glover.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the way Park City is progressing from the entryway. I noticed that kind of a statue deal, entryway to our city administration building. Also, what's going on behind us? Stuff is being moved, dirt's being moved, forms and everything's going up. Our city building is just looking great where it's at. I see the new colors. Has anybody noticed our new water tower colors? I thought they did an excellent job. I was seeing the guys hanging up there and I was hoping they wouldn't fall. They were several feet above the ground. So I was impressed by that. So we're looking forward to our aquatic center. Things are going well with that. And I see Park City just moving and progressing into the next decade. So I'm encouraged by that. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
I would echo the sentiments on the water tower. Looks really nice. I also would say, get excited for October 25th for our fall event that we have happening, celebration happening here in town, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Charles.
Yeah, I think everything you guys just said, I'll agree with that. And then also, several of us attended the League of Municipalities annual meeting in Overland Park. I think the overall opinion of it was there were parts of it that were very beneficial, parts of it were, not so beneficial, as far as hitting the nail on the head as to what we as councilmen need to learn. But probably one of the best things about it is meeting other people, hearing other people's ideas, hearing other people's problems. And overall, I enjoyed it, and I'll be going again next year. It will be in Wichita next year again. That's it.
Thank you, Terry.
I, too, would like to echo the thoughts on Park Center back here. I have the opportunity a fair amount to walk through those streets, and I took the opportunity this evening on the way here to drive through, seeing the sidewalks being built, being poured, the area in the back corner that's being prepared for the fitness court. It's moving along well, so it's a lot of exciting things happening in Park Center.
Thank you, Troy.
Yeah, maybe the last one.
Make it
You guys
long.
already said everything already. No, I went to the League of Kansas Municipalities. It was very interesting. I made this comment earlier, and I've told several people I wish our state ran as well as our city does. Maybe they should take some examples from what we do, but they're not going to. But I had a great time. Met quite a few people. Met some neighbor cities, and I'll go again next year for sure. That's all I got.
Thank you very much. So the chamber reached out and asked me to pass along to council members, October 24th, Friday, October 24th, the week before Halloween, is the trunk or treat. It's over at the library from 5 to 7 p.m. And they would like the council to have a trunk with treats. So the city will take care of the treat part of it, and we'll get a trunk set up, probably a city vehicle, where we can pass some stuff out of for them. If any of you guys know that maybe right now, if you're able to do it, or if you could follow up with Sean and just let him know, I'll for sure be there.
I'll be there.
Okay.
I should be back, so.
I'll try to be there.
Costumes required. So
Are you kidding?
already wearing yours. We already see her. We were wondering.
Are you going as grumpy old man?
Yeah. I've got that mask.
So anyway, be good participation for us to be there, and hope you guys to make it. So next thing, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Terry,
Move we adjourn.
Troy.
Second.
Motion by Terry, seconded by Troy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0.